All right, Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory is to Yahawashi, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I also want to say Shalom, much due honors and respect to all you brothers out there that's laboring in his work and continue to push out this gospel in all diligence, truth, faith, and sincerity. So yeah, the topic of this lesson is going to be centered around the cost of following after Yahawashi. When you come into this ministry and you seek to become a servant of the Heavenly Father and His Son, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh, it comes at a cost. And you got to be willing to pay that cost. And the main price for following after Yahweh is sacrifice. Because this world pretty much conditions you to be in that self-centered spirit. And that has no place here in this truth or following after the Lord. You got to completely sacrifice everything and forsake the things of this world to follow after the Lord. Matter of fact, let me get a quick precept before I get into this lesson. This is the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service, right? So when you come into the business of serving the Lord, all right, your service is to make your body a living sacrifice. Meaning, when you work, you might be tired, you get off late, and your body is telling you to lay down, but your spirit and your mind is telling you to upload a video. Well, you got to sacrifice that sleep. It could be times where it's raining, cold, the weather all jacked up, and you under the weather, you got a cold, but you got to go out on the highways and hedges. That's a form of making your body a living sacrifice, man, which this is the whole duty of men. For all the men out there who the Heavenly Father was gracious and merciful enough to open up this knowledge to you, that's your service. Because if you sitting around asking yourself, well, should I be teaching this word or should I be going out? Well, the answer to that is if you can understand this book and the Lord opened it up to you, that means the Lord gave you the talents. So you got to go out there and teach. But again, all this comes with a price, all right? This is the book of Luke, chapter 14, and verse 28. For which of you intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it. And that cost is sacrifice. You got to forsake the things of this world. Certain things you might have been involved in, certain things that might have captured your attention and your time and your energy in this world, well, you got to let all that go. That's a part of counting the cost. And the scriptures actually go into detail of what some of those things is. And I want to get it real quick. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, and starting at verse 7. Wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given me. I called upon the Most High, and the spirit of wisdom came to me. I prefer her before scepters and thrones, and esteemed riches nothing in comparison of her. Verse 9, neither compare I unto her any precious stone, because all gold in respect of her is as a little sand, and silver shall be counted as clay before her. Verse 10, and the point, I loved her above health and beauty. Now, King Solomon, in a roundabout way, is telling you to trade off the things you're going to trade off for this wisdom. And one of those things is health. You got a lot of brothers with ailments, young brothers, all right, back hurting. You're standing out. A lot of brothers is grieved. When you go into that word grieved, it means ill and sick. A lot of brothers sickling, man. Well, guess what? That was the price you had to pay to get this wisdom. You had to trade off your health. Again, it said, I loved her above health and beauty. And beauty is another thing you're going to trade off. All right? You stop getting the lineups, getting your hair all tight, getting groomed up, looking good for the girls. You got a lot of guys that are not willing to pay that price. Dudes getting lineups like this guy up in Chicago, all right, the lineup king. But guess what? He wasn't willing to pay that price to fall after Yahawashi. You got to give up your beauty, man. You know, you was clean cut in the world, the freshest line up, the freshest hairdo. I loved her above health and beauty and chose to have her instead of light, meaning the fame of this world. Okay? That's what you trade off. You might have was looking for the limelight. You might have been one who was looking to pursue a rap career, all right, or sports. That's the light. That's the limelight. You might have was looking to be, into movie, whatever dreams you was pursuing in this world. Well, you had to trade that off. I chose to have her instead of light, meaning the limelight. For the light that cometh from her never goeth out. So this is the trade-off. This is the price you got to pay, for following after Yahawashi, which is not a heavy price, man. It's only a heavy price to those guys who haven't fully let go of this world. Verse 11, all good things together came to me with her, and innumerable riches in her hands. And I rejoiced in them all, because wisdom goeth before them, right? So in order to receive the true riches, which we're going to have in the kingdom, gold, precious stones and rubies and, emeralds, sapphire, topaz, crystals, and just the fatness of this earth. Well, guess what? Before you can get those things, you got to have wisdom. And I rejoiced in them all, because wisdom goeth before them. And I knew not that she was the mother of them. I learned diligently and do communicate her liberally. And that's what you got to do in this truth, man. That's a part of the cost. Because Jake, man, we antsy, man. Amongst, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Natives, we never, really embraced being diligent and studying. We was always on the go, man. That's a part of the cost. A lot of men who can't thrive in this ministry is because they are not diligent. And when you're not diligent, you can't communicate, meaning you can't do the work. So again, it said, I learned diligently and do communicate her liberally. I do not hide her riches, meaning when you come into this truth, that's your service, to push out this word, to put the riches that the Lord gave you on display. Verse 14, for she is a treasure unto men that never faileth, which they that use become the friends of the Most High, being commended for the gifts that come from learning. So when you embrace being in this truth, you learn, you study, and you put it into motion, then you become friends of the Most High, man. Because by default, when you apply all those things I just mentioned, then you come from out of the world. When you truly deeply and rooted into this Bible and learning and studying and seeking to please the Most High by doing His work, then you're going to come out of the world by default, man. And that's going to make you a friend of the Most High. Verse 15, the Most High have granted me to speak as I would, and to conceive as it meet for the things that are given me, because it is He that leadeth unto wisdom and directeth the wise. So when you get this knowledge, it was because of the Most High. For in His hand are both we and our words, all wisdom also and knowledge of workmanship. So the things that you are able to break down and speak, from the greatest amongst primarily here at Great Millstone to the least, well, that's the work of the Lord, man. He the one granted you that. So you put it in motion, and that makes you a friend of the Most High. Nevertheless, all these things come at a price. This is not magic. You don't just pray and wake up and now you got all the breakdowns. No, you got to toil, man, which comes with what? What comes with that? Sacrifice. You ain't got time to do this or got time to do the things that, do this or do that, and the things that you was doing in the world. Which that's sacrifice, All right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 19, and verse 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? So this is the proper channel you got to take to follow the Lord, man. You got to forsake all, man. You can't be looking back, all right? Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Let me get that. The book of Luke, chapter 9, and verse 62. And Yahawashi said unto him, No man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of the Most High. All right? So in order for you not to look back, you got to forsake everything, man, which is, again, sacrifice. That's the price you pay. Matthew 19:27 again. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahawashi said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Verse 29, all right? And this is going to outline the things that you got to be willing to sacrifice, man. The price you got to pay. And everyone that have forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. So this is the essence of coming into this truth and this knowledge. You got to be willing to pay the cost, pay that price. And that price is sacrifice, man. You got to give up the things that you might have grown attached to in this present world, man. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope this was an edifying lesson. Until the next time I say shalom.